What's up, everyone? So I know that I am probably the worst at getting these videos out to you guys, but YouTube's hard and editing videos is not my favorite thing to do. That being said, I'm trying to do a little bit better. When I was sitting here, in the last video I put on YouTube is the Chevelle making it to the new shop, and I realized you guys haven't seen the new shop. So that's what this video is going to be about. And we're just going to look around and see what stuff I have in here and what my little setup looks like. Because when I got this, it was empty. And it no longer is. So let's check out the new shop. So first thing first is the outside. I want to say that this building is a 30 by 45. Not 100% sure on that, but there's two roll-up doors. We have two windows, one door. We've already got some decor going on out here, along with some plants and whatnot. And then I also built this lean-to off the backside. Coming to this side, I've got some more decor and some parts leaned up. Got another window. There's the 79 C10 that I bought for my girlfriend that we're working on. The 80 El Camino. Got a bunch of tires, some hoods, and the other part of the lean-to. So that's the outside. Pretty simple. I know you guys are probably thinking, okay, there's the shop, that's great, but Donnie, I know you have a lot more cars. Where are they at? Well, I also have another carport, and I'm getting another one that we're going to add on to the back of this. So we've got dry storage over here. We've got our more weathered vehicles outside, and then you have the shop, and then there's other stuff littered around. So they're all here. Welcome. Entry, please. So, when buying the new place, obviously this was a huge factor in me finding a new place to live, was having a shop. And although it may not be huge, this has been absolutely a game changer for me, because I don't know if you remember my old shop, but it was basically that over there. With walls, granted, and concrete. But never have I had roll-up doors in all of this space. So there's a lot to take in, but I guess we'll just kind of work our way around and we'll just kind of show you what's going on. All right, so starting in this first corner, I'm not going to go over everything because I got a lot of stuff and you guys don't want to hear about all of it. But I'll kind of show you some of the things that I like and kind of make the shop unique. So first things first is this wood here. All this wood you see in this corner is actually the wood that came out of the 1973 C10 that I insulated behind it and covered with this kind of vintage wood to give it the kind of barn look. And that's my plan, to insulate it, and as I go, use old wood and kind of give this like a barn look. That's kind of what I'm going for. But that's a piece. I don't know if you can see it. Let's bring you all over here. Yeah, here's that old wood I was telling you about. This is from the 1920s. I found that in an old building that I did some construction work in. That is the front filler panel, or whatever you want to call it, off the C10. And we got some of my vintage coolers, chop saw, and ammunition, and the fridge. Yes, we have a fridge. So here is the newly acquired fridge, because my old one went kaput, but we got some good stuff in here. Of course, we got some beer, twisted teas, water. We have some hummingbird nectar in case, you know, you want a sweet little drink. And if you're feeling really crazy, we do have some full brim, you know, a little snack. Yeah, it's got a fridge and a freezer, so that's a must-have in all shop, in all garages, I should say. Moving over here is probably the most used area in my shop. So this is the main workbench where typically I work on everything. This is the same workbench that I had in my old shop, and it was hand built by a guy I found on Facebook Marketplace. This is a vintage solid wood door, two repurposed, recycled toolboxes. I got all my tools in there. Everything's labeled. My wire tools, you know. Everything for the most part I need is in here. But yeah, do all my little tinkering up here. Over here I've got another table. It's usually where I've got my carburetor stuff. Got a TV, filing cabinet for more storage, but typically this is where you can find me. And I'm glad I was able to bring this giant monstrosity of a workbench to the new shop and kind of pay homage to the old one. Here's a closer look. So we've got all the carburetors, throw the old rags in there. Here's my welding setup. Tons of chaos on there because, like I said, I work here more often than not. And I do have a cool little thing I built there with old magazines. But, you know, I got everything labeled. Screwdrivers, vice grips. No, everything is not snap-on, and I don't have the little cutout mesh, little mats or whatever you want to call it. This is your real shop, pliers, snips. I mean, it's not beautiful by any means, but there's not much I can't do with what I have in here. I got some more miscellaneous stuff up here. Different bolts, paint supplies. But yeah, massive old vise I've had for a long time. But there is the workbench. So this wall isn't that exciting. We've got a couple engines. That is the original 305 out of the Camaro. We got a 318 for the Dodge Dakota at some point, whenever we have time for that. We got license plate lining the top. Tons of license plates. I want to cover this whole wall at some point with license plates. We got some old hubcaps. My to-do board. That includes the shop and house. But yeah, just different tools, jack stands, car dollies, some wood, you know, random stuff, some bones that I've found in the woods. You know, all died naturally. You know, I'm not out here poaching animals, don't worry. Hey, there's the C10. But yeah, nothing too exciting in this wall because I have to leave it open for when I work on stuff like this 1969 El Camino. Typically, what I like to do is I like to have a car in this bay at all times that I'm working on. And then I will leave this one open. That way I've got room to walk around, tote my tools, sit on the couch, maybe pull the lawnmower in, work on it. But I don't like to have two cars in here because it gets a little cramped. So, one car at a time. But there's the main bulk of the shop there. There is attic space to where I have a lot of Chevelle parts and everything stored up there. It's not all that exciting, so we won't go up there. But I do have some random little things hanging on the ceiling. Killdozer flag, holly, hooker headers. This is a vintage Esso, like pool table light. Got the television and different cool stuff. As well as the fan, because that is absolutely a must-have right now. It is hotter than hell. So now we will go into the tool room. So first thing first, it is motion activated. Wired it up myself. I'm not an electrician, so I am proud of that. Yeah, when you come in here, the lights automatically come on. I have not switched this over to LED like the main shop, but at some point in time, that will be LED. But here's some kind of overflow storage. Got some 402 heads, some big block valve covers. It's a lot of big block and Chevelle stuff. So it's kind of the overflow, and this where I put the jacks. Let's get in here and I'll show you the chaos that is my tool room. So like any other shop, there is stuff everywhere because as you can see, I'm kind of limited on space, but I try to optimize what I have. So we have a lot of storage up there. We have all my liquids and oils, and, wax compounds, all that stuff right here. Most of this shelf is actually fishing because I do like to fish a lot. All these are spray paints and lubricants. We have a bunch of corded tools in here, hammer drills, sanders, grinders, and more corded tools, chop saws, whatnot. There's all the corded tools on trolling motors down there. I'm sure you're very interested in those. And more storage. That's a lot of camping gear, exhaust, engine accessories, wiring, lights. Let's see, this is for the C10. This is distributor gauges, Chevelle stuff. There's a one of the mock-up big block engines. There's a piece of the El Camino. So there's stuff stored everywhere. There's a rhyme for the reason, but I can't get into all that because we don't have enough time. So there's stuff everywhere, but it all has a place. Alright, and here is the other side. Voila, this is the bulk of where I keep most of the tools. So I'm a Milwaukee man. We have tons of Milwaukee tools here. I've got the bench grinder that my buddy Tim gave me a long time ago, mounted on a torque thrust wheel. Yeah, we've got more Milwaukee stuff in here. All these fold in. You got a little table here. This is actually something I got from work. This is very old. It was actually made in New York City, so nothing's made there anymore. So that's built to last. We have, this is my first toolbox setup because I got this from my Uncle Larry, and when he passed, I inherited it, and I will never get rid of this toolbox because, one, it is a cool toolbox, but it's also sentimental. But I've got electrical materials, air tool accessories, open-end wrenches, everything you would need in here. Fuel delivery stuff. I also have a newer toolbox over here that I got in Virginia with a bunch of sockets and ratchet wrenches, T-handles, all that good stuff. I also have a lot of tools in boxes that are all labeled. They're all wrote on the side, so I know what I'm getting. There's also another toolbox here as well, another combo toolbox with different tools, and then I also have that one up there, and as well as more storage here, there, and everywhere. There's actually a DeWalt compressor back here, all my air tools there, and for the most part, that's pretty much it. So, hope you enjoyed it. This is pretty cool stuff. So here is another spot you'll see me spending a lot of time for reasons that you're probably going to be surprised about. One, yes, there's a fish tank in my garage. I spend a lot of time here just watching and feeding the fish. I'm also propagating some plants over here, some mulberry, blueberry, a peach tree, and I have an okra plant starting out. As well as my ultrasonic cleaner that I do a lot of cleaning of my carburetors and whatnot. But yeah, this is the cool spot. So we got some brim here. That is a dinosaur Bichar, and they're pretty happy. The tank's a little dirty, but these are all roots for the live plants. All the plants in here are real live plants. So coloration in the water are tannins, and it's natural. That's basically their natural environment. But yep, there's the aquarium, some of the plants we got going on. And yeah, they really want to be part of the show. Also on this door we have a lot of vintage tin signs as well, so when it's closed you can see those, as well as some more up here. Alright, so that's the grand tour of the MTV cribs, because a lot of times I do get in trouble, and that's why I have this couch, so I can sleep out here. But no, I hope you guys enjoyed kind of an overview of the shop. It just goes to show that you don't need some massive warehouse. You don't need a giant lift to get, you know, to have fun with what you have. You can get a lot of stuff running with a lot less than what I have, honestly. But I wanted to show you guys a quick overview of everything that's going on in here and some of the neat little stuff I have scattered about, because I mean, this is my favorite place to be, so I figured I'd share that with y'all. If there's anything that kind of stuck out that you wanted me to go over and look at a little bit more, let me know, and I'll definitely talk about it or show it. But I guess I kind of got to get to work now and work on something. So stay tuned for that. I am gonna get that running and get that out of here so I can get my C10 back in. And I'm also working on a 79 C10 with my girlfriend, and she's gonna be editing some videos and putting that up as well. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I don't really have a good outro, so later.